I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. It is the Sunday. This is the Sunday edition of the Political Spotlight. I am your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. This is episode 332. This episode is called Turmoil. I cannot believe I don't have an episode up to this point called Turmoil. And then literally as soon as I said that, I was like, oh shit, I didn't actually go back and check. So I'm not 100% sure. Maybe we do. That would suck. Oh well. This is today's episode of Turmoil on the Political Spotlight show. And we are a touch late. Not because of my fault, but because of Katherine Callahan. I won't dime her out on the reason why. We'll allow her to tell you if she chooses to, but it's her fault, so blame her. Hey, before we get started in the show, I do feel like it's important to say good evening to Cindy Ponchot. So hello there, Cindy, and hello to all of the rest of you. Obviously, if you're seeing Cindy's comment there, you're like, wait a minute, how did that get there? Well, we are a very interactive show. And if you're watching this live, we want to hear from you. We want to see what you've got to say. We want to hear what you're thinking. If you like, if you don't like, whatever's going on, please comment over on the right-hand side of the screen there. It's so funky because I'm always pointing to the left, but on the screen, it looks like I'm pointing to the right. Just roll with it. Comment on the, and that's why I also have to pause because I'm pointing to the left, but it's really the right over there. Comment on the right-hand side. If you're watching this at your time via replay and you're watching this in the future, then comment down here. That would be fantastic. Subscribe if you haven't, and like if you do. Comment below and share the show. That would be helpful if you could do those couple of things. None of it costs you anything. You get all of this information for free, and it's great information for you to have. Okay, before we get into all of the big stuff, I do just want to give you a quick little kind of an agenda for tonight's show. We are going to be talking about some Madison County stuff. We're obviously going to have Katherine Callahan on. I am going to also intermix it with Delaware County news as it relates to the Delaware County Auditor's office. We've got just a really bizarre situation going on in our auditor's office. It's really ridiculous. There's no reason what's happening is happening. It's a complete and utter joke. And somebody, for the love of God, needs to shake some sense into that office. So we're going to be talking about Madison County stuff, Delaware County stuff. And if we're lucky, if we have some time at the end, I'm going to be talking to you about a little bit of state gossip. We might pull Katherine up here in just a second and talk about it right here at the beginning. But before we get there, I do have to address a comment that I see right here. It's very important. Probably one of our biggest and best fans. She loves to hate us and hates to love us. And her name is Carol Jett. And Carol Jett says, is Rudd going to show his face? Well, Carol, we fired him. No, we didn't fire him. He's here. He's around. I would say Rudd is very reclusive. Nobody knows where he's at, what he's doing. And I would just say, because none of us, hell, we don't even know him. He just pops in when he pops in. But if there would ever be anybody out there listening that had any kind of insight to him in any at all, if you had any way to contact him and shake him too and say, get your ass back on the program, that would be wonderful. No, listen, I've said this a couple times. He's probably on work release. Yeah, right. He's probably in a deep, dark hole somewhere. No, it's getting to be that time of year. He's probably planning his birthday month. I think that starts about December. He starts gearing up for birthday month, which is in February. So basically, we won't see or hear from him from about December until about July. And then we get him for about a month in July, and that's about it. No, here's the deal. We're getting ready to be finals. He's got a lot of stuff going on. And so I've made this announcement before because I get people, like I get our detractors. Every now and then I'll get like someone be like, you guys are so ridiculous. Brandon left. Even Brandon don't like you. No, dude, Brandon annoys us. He's here constantly. He's in the chat. He's talking. He leaves us these things. We've got to listen to him. It's just crazy. I'm being facetious. We love Brandon. But he talks to Kate and I all the time. Matter of fact, we were just chatting with him. We are all Rudd. That's hashtag we are all Rudd. I love that. We need to put that up. You guys hashtag that out every night. That'll be a thing. But Brandon moved a while back to an undisclosed location. He and his better half are both doing master and like PhD level studies, and they're both geniuses. So they've got a lot of school things going on. And so we've told Brandon, hey, you come and go as you please. Everything's fine. He gives us a lot of help behind the scenes, talks to us, bounces ideas off. And he was on not too long ago, just right around the election. But he comes on, every now and then. And we basically, here's the way I look at it. Brandon can come on every night if he wants. And if he wants to come on once a month, that's fine. If he wants to come on once every quarter, that's fine. Whatever's good with Brandon, I'm down with. Brandon is our bro, and we're here for him. So that will be good. Yeah, we'll see what goes on here. But Vegas. Yeah, nothing on the Vegas deal. We'll probably see Brandon before we get Vegas information. I hope to let you know, just the last thing I'm going to say before we bring Katherine on. The attorney that helped with the information on the Westdell stuff is the same attorney's office that is involved with getting that. And I'm hoping to talk with them maybe tomorrow or Tuesday. And so I'll get another shot to bring that up. So remind me, Alva, tomorrow and Tuesday when I come on if I don't say anything about it. But I will ask her tomorrow. And along that same vein, we did the big Westdell show on Friday, and it caused a shitstorm. I received a lot of messages in the 12-hour period after that from people, text messages, phone calls, emails. I'm just letting you know there will be another Westell show coming. I don't know when. It's going to be probably a while. I was told that there are a lot more records, and Kate and I both said several times Friday night that there were a lot of holes in the notes and in the show and in the timeline. And so there are a lot more documents that this source has that he's going to get to me. He is someone that is very, very busy. And so it's not going to be like he's not going to get them to me tomorrow, but he's going to try here just at his convenience to get them to me. I also have a couple other records I need to get from the county. And I know that there are records that will be available. But they've not even been created yet. They're going to be created like this coming week. So we will be doing another part to the Westell thing, and the Westell saga is not over. The Westell thing is not over. So we will be doing more on that, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, here is Katherine. We all thought she was quitting, just going to leave politics, leaving the world, just going on to her own little plane of existence. But nope, she's here.
Well, I want everybody to know I was leaving politics.
Shut up. You were not.
Listen,
I knew it.
was. And I was done with politics. And then I was leaving my girl, Kate, behind. And I was sad about that. And then I was sad about leaving you behind.
Yeah.
But I was going to do it.
Yeah. No, you weren't.
And then, dun, 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 the paper keeps bringing me back to light.
Every time I'm out, they keep pulling me back in.
They just keep, if they should have just let it go, and I would have walked away.
I know.
And then you just have to make your sound look so foolish. And then Katherine has to come back and has to set the record straight.
Yeah.
And I was frustrated after Tuesday night. I was, people need to understand, I have truly been at this for 4 years. Now, Kristopher was always very gun shy of me and wouldn't get involved with me. And it took him a couple of years to warm up to me, but then I kind of grew on you.
Yeah.
So
answer.
How people don't understand. I really have been in the thick of this. You just haven't seen me in the other capacity where I was the chief deputy coroner. And I want you to know tonight, I have gone back and forth, and I wasn't sure really where to start this show out tonight.
Have you ever seen that movie where all the dead people say, "I see Katherine"? Oh no, go ahead. All right, go ahead. I think that was
somebody just messaged, I'm waiting on the sidelines for you to quit so we can have our friendship back. Very funny. As somebody just messaged me that. I'm awaiting on the sidelines for you to quit. Well, I was going to quit if you're watching.
But they pulled her back in. Listen, if you're out there, if you're watching this, obviously they are, or they wouldn't have just text you that.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Well, I messaged everybody with the information.
If you're watching this,
so he's talking to me in third person. He said he is.
Well, listen, just be Katherine's friend because she's never going to quit. See, I told her, we had this conversation the other day, and this has got nothing to do about it, but this is just a little behind the scenes thing. And I'm not going to dime me out or anything. I mean, what we talked about was between us, but I told Katherine, and I told you guys too, that Katherine, it's cute. She's been doing this for 4 years. When she was doing this for 4 years, at that time, I had been doing it for 24 years when she started. And generally what happens is you get all these people that come on as hangers on, and they're going to change the world, and they're going to do a bunch of stuff. And out of about every 100 or 150 people that you meet, one person hangs on and sticks with it. And you never really know. It takes about 4 or 5 years because you got to go through an entire cycle. And what I call a cycle is not a May election and a November election. No. And a cycle is, people do it backwards. To me, the off year's the 4-year. Like we're right now in the 3rd act,
Right.
and next year's the 4th act. That's not how I look at it. I look at next year's Act 1, and then midterms is Act 2, and then the 3rd thing is the municipal election. That's Act 3, building up to the presidential election, which is Act 4.
Right.
And
I
so
tell
you've got to
people,
go through all of those cycles before you know if someone's going to be with it or not.
a lot of messages asking me, how do we get involved right now? You got to hit this ground running a year in advance. This is not something you can hit it in 2026 in January. I want to some of these people I want to comment on here. I want to give a little history to everybody. And if I get any boos, Joe Black or Stumblefoot or Alva, I'm just going to put it out there. I'm going to tell on myself right here. 4 years ago was the first time I ever voted in my life at the age of 48. Because I was so busy. We were poor, raised in a trailer park. My brother was in the military. And so he pretty much said, if you don't vote, you don't get to bitch, so shut up. So I never really got into that. I was building my career. I was building my family. And then 4 years ago, got into running for coroner. People voted for Dr. Abbott, but I knew they were voting for me as well. We won big, like really big. And so that's why I'm surprised I lost this year, but that's okay. And so that is how the momentum started. I committed myself to 4 years. We are at that 4-year mark. I was going to step away, but for some reason, the Herald Bulletin keeps putting me in the paper. Chris tells me it's because I sell papers. And so we're going to get into that article in a minute. So there you have it. But I want everybody to know here and now, both my daughters have always voted since the age of 18 now. So I want you to know that although I fell short, they have not, because we've made it very, very much part of our conversations here. And I also want you to know that my daughters live in a different county than I do, but they researched every candidate. And if they did not have a web page, they did not earn a vote.
Yeah.
And some of them, even after they read for them, they didn't even cast a vote for that person because there was nothing in there that had substance to it. Yep. So I just kind of want to let people know that I applaud those college students who may not be able to attend these meetings in the county, but they were doing their active diligence. They didn't just blindly vote for somebody. So proud of them to do all that.
Yeah.
But as we move into this show, I know we always have a long one when I'm on. Jeff Hager said, "Oh, hell, just build her a morgue and she'll go away." That was the truth. Had somebody given me a morgue, I would have gone away. That is the truth, but that didn't happen. But Joe Black, Stumblefoot, Alva, all these guys have always been kind to me. Cindy Ponchett, she's another one. She's not a quitter either. It's been good. I've made a lot of great friends through all of this. But the meeting on last Tuesday, I want to start at the end because I hate it when I lose some of you. And while at the beginning of the meeting, there were all these applauds, they were giving each other back rubs and, hey, you get this award and, oh, you've done this phenomenal job. But I really want to start this show off tonight.
Well, real quick, because so after that show, because we watched that show, I watched it live. I wasn't able to be there. What?
This one part.
Yeah. We're pulling it up, but I was just going to tell you that we watched all that show and we covered it, and I didn't really say it then, because I wanted to wait to you. But these guys that are on here, man, it's like they're like the people that gave themselves. That got like participation trophies, and they're all too damn old for that. They didn't grow up in that lifestyle, but you would have thought they did, because they're out here literally giving themselves awards because they're not coming back. And it's like, dude, you guys are the losers. You're the losers. You're not special. You didn't do anything good. You're the loser here, man. So
they have ripped off the taxpayers.
Yeah,
literally,
how much do those stupid awards cost?
Exactly. I mean, they should actually have gotten a gold gavel because they've used it so much.
A broken gavel.
Yeah, these people are just something else. And so I just want you, I want to start at like around the
Yeah,
maybe
we're here.
2 hours and 32-minute mark.
Okay, now wait
I
a minute.
want,
You're
I
changing the
want
time.
as these people watch tonight, these election members, this is truly what the people think of you. Listen
Yeah.
to the audio on this part.
Yeah. All right. What part could you
I think
change
it's
it
about
on?
2 hours and 32 minutes. It's
2
right at the
hours
end.
and 32 minutes. So we'll take it to 2:31:45.
Let's see. Yeah, it's right around there.
Rainy day fund, somehow this council can come up with funds to pay the remaining monies for these fire departments. Because if they limit our services, that's going to be a public safety problem. And that's what they're talking about doing right now, limiting the services to the ones that haven't paid. Just letting you know, thank you for your time.
Now listen closely.
We have a motion to adjourn, and we have a second. Rick, was there?
Yeah, I'm just curious if that, I don't know where that date came from, but there's a possibility that January 7th was the reorganization. I don't know that.
Okay. Typically, we've always just had our one January meeting. So unless there's any complaints from the council members about that being on the second Tuesday in January. You want it on the first? Okay. All right.
Were you discussing having 2 meetings?
No. No, we typically have one meeting in January, and for some reason, the date that was put here was for the first Tuesday, where our meetings typically sit on the second Tuesday. So I just wanted to clarify that. If the council chooses that they want to meet on the first Tuesday, that's fine, but that'd be up to you all. So.
Here it comes.
Outgoing,
Mhm.
but for the reorganization, there's been a couple council members asking on how the January meeting will move forward with President, Vice President Longer being here. In years past, the auditor's office will call the meeting to order, and the first act of business will be voting on the president. Right. Once that's done, gavels hand over to the president. The president handles the rest of the meeting.
Right.
Just for your own curiosity, if you were curious.
Okay, thank you. And then we have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Here we go.
We are adjourned. Thank
There's
you.
a couple of you guys who did not check the proper thing on some of these ordinances.
Ms. White, thank you for your comment being on point to the commissioner's request. Maybe if the twat bag Ben Gale would shut his mouth and not interrupt the public when they're speaking, he would realize that the people are going to speak about what's on the agenda.
I'll give you a second.
Thank you, Bethany.
So did you hear that? That's how the public really believes.
Good riddance to the
Yeah.
elected officials that are leaving because it's much overdue. They needed to be lost long ago.
So yeah, I mean, listen
They're
to
twat
that.
bags. I mean, there's no other. I mean, these people have silenced the people. They don't let them speak. The last gentleman that was speaking is the president of the fire territory. 911 dispatch is saying that they're going to restrict services that they give them because they haven't paid their bill. These guys don't care. They just want to adjourn.
Listen,
Truly, that's what the people think of you people. I would be so humiliated that if I'm walking off of this council tonight, that's how I'm leaving my legacy.
yeah, after they've given themselves awards, after they've made themselves feel good, and you know, it's like the bald club, like Emery's patted Ben on the head, and he's patted Emery on the head, and they've made themselves feel good about what they think they've done. Their employers, their bosses, are calling them like twat bags or whatever's going on, you know. And listen, I've said this, and I just, there's the only real way to say this is this way. I mean, none of these people ever any physical harm. I always mean this like with words and doing it through the First Amendment and the political discourse and political theater and all of that. But Ben Gale acts and talks like he's never been punched in the mouth. And I really sincerely mean that he is absolutely an asshole. I used to know him and talk to him.
I'll give you a second.
What? Yeah, right. Right. Absolutely. I used to know him and talk to him on a frequent basis. And what's funny to me about that is He was someone, when I was talking to him back then, when we were on the same side as each other, there was never a problem talking with him. He would call and we would communicate about things, and he would pick my brain and we would talk about things. But the second, he's the only other person I've ever known worse than him was JD Prescott. The second that
He's got
questioned
JD
him,
Prescott beat.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, even Dan Ridenauer, it took a year of me questioning him before he shut down. But I questioned this guy one time, and he was like, to hell with you. I'm never going to answer you again. And it's gross. And I just want everyone to know, in Madison County, I don't care if they have a meeting next month or not, which they're not. That man, those people there are your elected officials until 11:59 on the 31st.
They're taking home a paycheck.
Absolutely. They're going to be getting paid for not doing a damn thing next month. So if you feel the need to email them or to call them or to text them, I just put the caveat out there. I always tell people, do it at your own risk. I mean, don't be rude. You got a First Amendment right. I always tell people, don't call or text unless it's between business hours. Don't do it on Sundays, yada, 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 just to be polite. But, you're all adults, so you understand that you can do what you want. But
I got some information tonight that the word is the reason why Ben Gale did not run is because there is some word that he may be getting the contract to do all the wiring and the electronics and the cameras and everything at the new jail.
Why? What does he do? What is his day job?
He owns this company, and everybody should look it up, because I mean, if he treats his customers the way that he treats this, it's called Sinewave, SINEWAVE audio. And so it isn't there in Madison County, but I don't know if he treats people, his customers, like he treats the constituents. I wouldn't employ him. Right there's your interview, people. Just
wait a minute. Where's that located at?
It's on Madison Avenue. And so
no way. I didn't know this was them. I didn't know he did this. Are you kidding?
Uh-huh. So I hope I teach people more information every time I come on and get to see you. So I just want you to know that, because I want you to see how Ben Gale functions as an employee. Remember, when you hire his company, he becomes your employee. So if you can play the video starting at 2:28.
Dude, he is such a rude asshole.
At 2:28, I'm sure you heard a little bit about, you saw a little bit of this. I think you guys did cover this part, but this is a legitimate complaint from Cheryl.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yes. This really pissed me off. Here we go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How much money did we appropriate for these vehicles?
May I speak on that?
No,
Real quick?
I believe it was closer to 10 in the general fund.
I don't know, but again, right now we're following the agenda. We're on public comment.
Okay, just one thing. I checked with the coroner on that for the upfitting of the vehicles. The upfitting was included.
This isn't it.
No money was included.
No, it is. Go ahead and pause it right there for 1 second.
Okay.
She's going to come right on. I just want to bring to everybody's attention, Katherine begged for vehicles for 2 years.
Yeah.
They're getting them now. These guys you look like a golden star. I'm glad to see that Alva put on here. He made his first educated vote at like 36 or 38. So that makes me feel better.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is that they're getting their vehicles. That's the biggest waste of money that the county can give those vehicles to the coroner's office, because they can't transport bodies. And that's what they need more than anything. So they're just pissing money away again. They should have given them vehicles. They could outfit and actually remove bodies at the same time to be more
dude. That when I heard that was so stupid.
Yeah, this was the biggest. But here goes Cheryl. No, it's right here.
Okay.
right here.
I thought she was before him, but all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen to this.
Cheryl McKinney, Anderson, Indiana. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I have a couple of concerns that I'll address, only two of them, because I have more than we have enough time for. One of them is notoriously this council does not meet in December. I'm not sure how you can do that when you come every single month that I've been here. People have been asking for new monies, been asking for monies to be taken from this fund and put into that fund. So what are these people are going to do when you guys don't meet in December? I mean, Anderson City will meet in December. They don't stop. Government doesn't stop because you only want to work 11 months out of the year. You can laugh at
And I want to just stop here for just 1 second, because what she is asking them and saying them is absolutely a legitimate complaint that honestly every person in the auditorium ought to be standing up behind to ask, to say, hey, we second her motion. We were her complaint. I want to complain about this. You guys need to be here. We expect you to be here. Damn it, you need to be here. Everybody, the employees, because it puts everybody in a bind, specifically the employees.
Well, and here, let me tell you another problem.
Mm-hmm.
You have the public up there speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to say it. Jody Nork and Likens can only do paperwork. They should have your undivided attention right now.
Mm-hmm.
They should be listening what the public says. Do you know that right after the meeting that Ben Gale announced that Cheryl was low class?
He said that. Oh, man.
That's how Ben Gale speaks. That's how disgusting his behavior is. So now you know the company he owns. Just think about what he thinks about people when he goes into their facilities.
Yeah. So in all fairness, he's the vice president of that company, but
he's co-owner.
Oh yeah. So I didn't know. I know. That's why I was laughing. I know people that use them and probably are not aware of this, but will have a major issue with this. I did not know that this was Ben Gale's company. Mm-hmm. That is hilarious. So I will make sure to make that aware of this issue, aware of those people that I'm aware of. That's funny. But this is extremely gross how he thinks of her, what he said. And you know what you've got here? You've got ridiculous Ted Nolting down here laughing and being an asshole right in front of her. And keep in mind and understand, this is the what your governor, the type of people your governor picks and has around him. Ted Nolting has made it on one of the transition councils for Mike Braun, amazingly enough. And so he trusts Ted Nolting's legal acumen, and he believes that he's good enough to be on one of these transition teams. Ted Nolting, I wouldn't let that dude clean the floors in the jail.
When Ted Nolting has sent us letters when I was in the coroner's office of misappropriation of funds, how he was going to file Class B misdemeanors if we didn't stop when we were doing it for autopsies, which Indiana code says we have to have. Yet he sat through this entire meeting and they passed money after money after money of misappropriation funds and doesn't advise this council that this is wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole problem with
absolutely
all of this, Okay, go ahead with
let's go on with this because it gets crazier, believe it or not.
And you can laugh. That's fine. So I also understand that funds cannot be spent until they're appropriated. We watched here tonight numerous times. Money was already spent. We talked about the election board. It was spent before it was appropriated. It's not allowed, but yet you guys continue to allow it. I only have one.
Okay. Just briefly, that's also a problem and a legitimate concern. So it's funny that she brings that up.
The only person who cares on this council is Bethany Keller.
Is Bethany Keller.
And she gets shot down time after time. She's the only voice for the people.
Yeah.
She's the only one that advocates for the people.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, quite frankly, the only person who even deserves to be president of this council
Yeah.
is Bethany Keller.
Is Bethany Keller. Yeah.
No one else deserves it.
Yeah. We can get into that in a moment when we read that thing. But that's you're very correct on that. And so the first two things that McKinney has brought up here have been very legitimate issues.
Concerns.
Okay? Concerns. However, what she's getting ready to bring up here is it's also a very serious concern. I consider it almost to be the biggest, because conflicts of interest and issues like that are very, very, very important. And so I want you guys to hear this, and then we can talk about this. But listen to this third issue, and in my opinion, the most serious.
Another comment I know I said too. You guys have approved all this money for parks. The county doesn't own any land. You guys said that. So where are they going to get this land? Eminent domain? So we're going to pay taxpayers for money? And this is not an attack on anybody on your board, and I won't use their name. However, there's somebody on this board that owns an awful lot of farmland out in the county. Are they going to make money on this? Shake your hand all you want.
Again, you're just being inappropriate.
If you're not.
You can have a seat.
So I'm inappropriate when you don't like what I have to say.
You can have a seat. No, there's something called decorum
I
and being
would
appropriate in a public meeting. So our next council meeting,
And I think that's a violation of Cheryl's rights. I mean, I really do. And did you see that that case in Michigan?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a big deal, people.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
this is a big deal.
Yeah. Lorraine White, and I'm not going to get into everything, but our thoughts and prayers are with her and her family. I know she had some things going on, but that's all I'll say about that. But Lorraine White got up at this very meeting and was speaking with some more issues that are very important. And he gavelled her several times, 2 or 3 times during her speech. And she brought up, rightfully so, several times that she was dealing with viewpoint discrimination from the president of the council. And Ted Nolting says, well, no, it's time and place, blah, 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 blah. Completely butchering what it was he was trying to say. He was completely in the wrong. But to me, again, this was viewpoint discrimination, because someone in the public asking the council about a possible conflict of interest, that is the epitome of a citizen calling out your government and asking questions, holding their feet to the fire, redressing the government and asking. Now, in fairness, I don't know if do you know who she was talking about?
The Lycans.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, the Lycans own more farmland than anybody in the county.
Sure. And so, everyone, so you're familiar, obviously.
For Diana to take her glasses off and look at her like daggers, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
I mean, here's a newsflash. Maybe if Diana Likens would have paid back the $150,000 plus money that her family has stolen from the taxpayers on a frivolous lawsuit, the dispatchers could have gotten a raise a lot sooner. But no, instead, Commissioner Likens, the mother and the mother-in-law to her, the mother to the son who filed the lawsuit, forgave it, and they only had to pay $5,000 back to that while the taxpayers were all this money. And you want to talk about a rainy day fund? Well, let's talk about it. Would be even have a lot more money if you Likens would pay back all the money you've stolen. Yeah. That's the reality of it. That's the nepotism. And I'm telling you people right now, the nepotism is going to get a whole lot worse.
Yeah. Well, so do you have more to show on this, or do you want to?
I mean, we could do 2 weeks of information over what happened in the last couple of weeks. But I think that, there'll be another time. I think the best time to go back over this video more in great detail is going to be towards the first of the year, as we're going to bring in new people.
Yeah.
And so we can move on to many
the only reason I can keep this up, and if we think of something, but what I thought.
Oh no, I've got plenty of timestamps here. And I guess maybe part of it is I want to show why I believe Bethany Keller should be the next president of this council.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
Tell me.
it'll be a cold day in hell before they nominate her because she is the voice of the people. But look at the 2 hour, 18 and 45 second mark. Who has been to ever speak to a grown woman, mother, and a representative of the people? 2 hours, 18 minutes, and 45 seconds.
2 hours, 18. All right. We'll go at 2 hours, 18:43.
In fact, I think we even voted on it. What is it?
But we never actually brought up.
Councilwoman Keller, let Councilman Emery finish his.
Sorry, I thought he was finished. Go ahead.
We're
And Emery was finished.
passing up on the opportunity to give pay raises out of other areas other than the general fund to people who we all agree deserve pay raises. We're never going to be able to give pay raises if we don't give pay raises out of things like the miscellaneous funds so that we can use the general fund, the limited resources we have, the general fund, to give pay raises to the other folks next year. So again, if we just keep saying we're not going to give raises till we give everybody a raise, we're never going to give anyone a raise. So you've got to get past that. You've got to get past saying it's all or none. If we do that, no one ever gets a raise in the county. You have to give raises as the revenues become available, whether that's through general or through miscellaneous funds. You take small bites of the apple. If we wait till we eat the whole apple, it's never going to happen. So again, we discussed this during budget time. So I think we're beating a dead horse here.
So let's make sure real quick, we have a motion. We don't have a second for this yet. Would anyone like to second this? To allow us to further. Well, I'm just saying, under Robert's rules, we really need to have a second if we're going to discuss this.
But can I say something legally and no things back? I mean, this is something
I'll
that.
second it.
Okay, we have a second by Councilwoman Miller. Thank you.
Okay.
I called down the state about a couple.
And this is what kills me. This is what kills me.
And-
Bethany had the floor.
Yeah. He didn't
She's told her to be
tell.
quiet,
Yeah.
and then the council just overrides Bethany like she's nobody. Like
Yeah.
she's just sitting on the end. Nobody has to pay attention to her. Where's the justice for Bethany? We voted 7 people on this council. Last time I looked. I don't care who sits up there and wants to say they're the president or the vice president. She has a right to speak on behalf of the people. We voted for her.
I mean, I
I
just
don't know
am
how
telling
she
you,
keeps calm
it's
because I'm telling you right now, I don't know that I could have kept my calm. So as we, and here's the thing, if you've been watching this for all 4 years with me, Ben Gale and Anthony Emery were the 2 biggest, and I'm going to say it, douchebags who would never give out raises. But outgoing, they want to look like, oh, we wanted everybody to have raises. Everybody should have them. You got to be kidding me. So let's show at the 2 hour and I think maybe it's at the 2 hour and 9 minute mark. I got to see where Bethany actually calls them out. It's the best part of the whole meeting.
And so I think it's appropriate to leave them as is.
So you want to leave it just one?
It appears that an extra zero just got.
No,
Right there.
it's not
That's
because
it.
they changed
This
it.
part right here.
should I go back?
Maybe about, like 30 seconds. This is where Bethany has been watching the constituents. She's been looking. She's been questioning what the constituents are questioning. She goes and does some investigative work, and she finds out that, yes, indeed, there wasn't a misunderstanding. Rick slid in, and it wasn't Rick. Todd Culp, your new auditor, slid in a $25,000 raise, not thinking anybody would catch it. Listen to this.
$25,000, folks.
Listen to
Not
this. And Gail
$2,500.
tries to cover it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This fired me up. Listen here.
And it said for machinery and equipment.
No, we got to go back some more. Okay, here we go.
11301 second deputy. It currently reads 25,000. I would like to amend that to 2,500.
Thank you for that. I did talk to Rick earlier, and that's what he was requesting that to be. We had a motion to pass with that one change of the second deputy by Councilwoman Keller, and we had a second by Councilman Vaughn. Any discussion?
So my motion stems from, I noticed this line item and it looked a little high to me. And so I went and looked at the requested 2025 budget. This is in the auditor's plat book maintenance fund, which is one of those miscellaneous funds. And what had been requested was 2,500 for the second deputy, 77,500 for machinery and equipment, and $81,850 for professional services. But that 2,500 did not match the 25,000 I was seeing in the salary ordinance. So I did go on Indiana Gateway, and Indiana Gateway was showing the following as both published and adopted. So it showed that for the second deputy published 25,000, and that's saying that's what we adopted. And it said for machinery and equipment 75,000 and professional services $61,850. And so at some point those numbers were changed without council approval. And so that's why I want to make sure that salary ordinance reads the 2,500, which was what was requested to the council, and we did not make any changes to that number.
Councilman Gill, do we need to change and then the other two because they don't, or you just?
No.
Well, the other two are not salaries.
Yeah.
So,
And they're
okay.
actually lower than what was requested, and so I think it's appropriate to leave them as is.
So you want to leave it just one?
It appears at an extra zero to Scott.
No, it's not, because they changed the other two line items so that the total fund number was the same. So that's an intentional, not a zero that got left off or
You don't
added.
know that it was
I
intentional.
absolutely do.
No, you don't. And the
Okay,
person that
let's
did that's not
just
here to
read
discuss that.
aloud the email response that I got. Bethany, Todd does the upload and he wrote the budgets for the miscellaneous funds because I will not be here next year. Although the total budget did not change, I didn't authorize any changes to these line items, and they should read as follows. Second deputy, 2,500, machinery and equipment, 77,500, professional services, 81,850. This matches the miscellaneous budgets I sent on to the council on 8/16/2024. I would only approve the salary ordinance in the amount of 2,500 and the line 1181-11301. If he's requesting something different, he will need to make a request next year. Thanks for bringing this to my attention, Rick.
Okay, is there any further discussion on this?
I'm telling you, at that minute, at that moment, everything should have stopped. And the, what is it? Is it the Snoop Dogg music that plays? And the little black glasses should have flown in and the joint should have popped in her mouth, because that was thug life.
And
she is a badass.
Yeah, and here's the bottom line. The bottom line is the majority of Madison County voters just put in a snake into the commissioners. Look how slick he is, and it doesn't bother him a bit that he got caught with his hand in the cookie jar.
Yeah.
Look at the other 6 council members, do not even have a
They don't
problem.
give a damn.
No. Bethany is on an island by her own.
Yeah.
I hope somebody does, vote for her or whatever they have to do for president. Whether she wins or she doesn't, let the people see. Let the people see you had the chance to have an honest, outstanding person as your president. Now, let me tell you people something. Bethany and I have not always seen eye to eye.
Right.
We have had our differences. We have had our challenging conversations. So I don't want anybody to think, oh, well, Catherine this and no. Bethany have had our differences.
And there are going to be things you disagree about still in the future.
But the fact of the fact, Bethany has earned her way.
Yeah.
She certainly has earned her way, hands down, more than anybody on that council. She deserves that seat more than anybody.
Yeah. No, and listen, and understand what Catherine's saying, because it's not just Rick. So Rick, a sneaky, slimy asshole, is working from the auditor's office into the commissioner's seat. You're making him one of the 3 executives of the county. Just a horrible move, Madison County. And his protege, Culp, is coming up from behind him to take over his seat, which is a horrible.
Submitted the wrong budget intentionally.
Yes.
Bethany had to call them out for that. And you people still voted this guy into his seat.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. Catherine's not a sore loser. I'm going to enjoy this ride. You have no idea how much I'm going to enjoy this ride.
Yeah. It's gross, folks. And it's sometimes it's hard to hear on these videos and things. That's why it's important for people to go to the meetings. And you
And
really
speak.
got to be paying attention to what's going on to play this ball, because it's very hard and it's very fast, and it might be hard to understand. But let's just be really clear here. This was not like a whoops, I meant to take a 5 out of his wallet and I took out a 10 instead or something like that. This was, they thought that they were doing a $2,500 for a raise, and he had slid in without anyone else being aware an extra zero, so it became $25,000, and it would have went through if Keller wouldn't have caught it.
He really did ask for that.
The 25,000?
A couple
Sure.
meetings back, he really did ask for that. This was not an error in decimal points.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. He did that, but their excuse is, oh, it was an accident.
No, he knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah.
This is how, if you go back and look at all my numbers, every year, all of his employees have gotten raises and then some. And so has and so has Culp. So they know exactly what they're doing to finesse the numbers. And I think it's illegal.
Yeah, it most definitely should be. I mean, listen here. She talks about, listen to what she says here.
Okay, so I wanted to bring up the 49.
Wait a minute. Doesn't she talk about the fact that they didn't, it wasn't what was published, or did she already do that?
No, she did. She already did that.
She's already done that. Okay. Okay. But it would definitely be illegal what they did. Absolutely. It would be illegal if it did not get caught. What they did would have been an illegal deal.
Go to the 2 hour and 15 minute mark. Is that where I had you start? If that is, go to the 2 hour and 9 minute mark.
We were already at the 2 hour 9.
2 hour and 9 minute.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Because Beeman's up there. It's where Beeman's at. Is it the 2 hour 9 minute? Was Beeman up there?
Also changed to non-exempt.
Well, here's 2:15.
A motion and a second on the amendment to the motion. So is there discussion on
That's
that?
2:15.
Yeah.
So go to 2 hour 9 minute. Let me see if Beeman's up there.
I think it was overlooked personally.
Gonna change the other 2 line items so that the
No,
total
that's
cost
no,
number
that's
was
where
the
they're.
same. So that's intentional. It's not a zero that got
Again,
left off or
you don't
added.
know that it-
We're at 2:09 right. 2 hour 9 right now.
No. And the
Okay,
person that
let's
did that's not
just
here to
read
discuss that.
aloud the email response that I
So
got.
go back and see if you can see where Beeman comes up there. It's right towards the end of when Rick Gardner gets up there.
On the second.
Let me see here.
One was the 25,000 or 25.
So budget did not change. I went,
I don't know.
You did make all the upgrades across all 6 clubs.
Okay, keep fast forward. We see where Beeman.
Reading?
I thought Beeman was up well before this.
No, it was.
This year. To go.
the current
Other folks next year. So again, if
Yeah, we're now to 2:20. Where am I going?
Okay, it was before that. But anyways, when they get up there, Rick gets up there and he talks about, well, it wasn't published. It was published. I'm not sure if it was published. Well, now it's going to be out of the general fund. I mean, it's the most ridiculous thing.
Here Rick is at what? Well, Rick's up there at 158.
Okay, was Beeman up there right before? Is Beeman standing up there with him?
No.
Go back just a little bit.
There's Lorraine at 155.
I think it's right before. It's before Lorraine gets. Go back just a little bit. Because it'll be before Rich Wine.
Okay, that's here.
Right there. Yeah. So right. Listen to this.
Avenue to proceed. So do you have a request? Okay. So when they turned in their additional appropriations, if you're looking at this paper with the explanation on it. It's got general fund 1,000 at the top, but down here in these smaller numbers, somebody's penciled in the 1170. So I don't know if you can make a motion. I'm not sure where it got advertised at. If it got advertised at general fund or public safety fund. So either or, it's the same dollar amount. I don't know if a motion can be made, Ted, to yeah, I don't know. Appropriate.
Depends on where it was advertised at.
And stuff has just brought to my attention. I'm assuming it was.
Yeah, what does that mean?
I mean, nobody even knows where it was advertised at.
Yeah, right. Depends on where it's advertised at.
Right here shows you, if you think they're this confused, how do you think the constituents are confused?
Yeah. Now,
listen to this closely without me interrupting you.
What?
Listen to this closely without. Well, we've got whiteout, we've got penciling. We're not sure where it's advertised. Ted's like, well, it just depends on where it was, and never demands them to say where it was advertised at.
Yeah. Which is what for the attorney to be sitting down here and be okay with this is nuts.
It was a general fund appropriation because that's clear, and down here it looks like it's been whited out and penciled over. So
You're talking about the food one, Rick?
yeah, the food one.
Yep, for 30,000.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain it was advertised in the general fund. And maybe appropriation in the general fund. I'm sure that's where it was advertised at, because this number was penciled in as an account number, but it's listed on your docket as general fund appropriation. So I'm sure that's where it was appropriated at.
And that's where it's at, correct? It's not in the public safety, is it?
No,
That's where they've been paying it. That's where they've been paying it, I think, this year.
Yes.
Public safety, but it was advertised as a general fund item. So that line item's still in the general fund. It's just, he's gonna have to pay his bills the rest of the year through the general fund instead of public safety.
Did you pay it out of either then, right? No.
You pay out of what's appropriate.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with paying it out.
Right.
Yeah, whatever the attorney says. Yeah, because I really don't know. I've been doing the job for 8 years,
Yeah,
but I'm really not
his
sure
job.
what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I mean, people, your parents, the majority of you are parents. If a kid came with this explanation,
Yeah.
if any of you were a teacher and they were giving a book report like this, they'd get an F.
Yeah, it's really
gross.
bad.
I mean, Madison County is out of control, and you mark my words, this county is going to be bankrupt.
Well, I tell you, it's really rough that this is what's going on. And ladies and gentlemen, so right now, as you're watching this in this video, Rick is the auditor of the county. Starting in January, he's going to be one of your 3 executive elected officials. He's going to be one of the commissioners, and that's a really bad thing. That's not something that is good. I mean, that's going to be really bad if he's this loosey-goosey with things, and he's willing to, be this, just like, well, it could be here, it could be there, These things matter, and for him to just be like acting like it doesn't matter is really a problem. Now, I do want to just for 1 second, because we're here talking about screw ups in the auditor's office, if we can just pause for 1 second, just because I know that there are some people that are also concerned with what's going on in the Delaware County thing, and there's something that kind of relates to this. So if I can just for 1 second pause here for just 1 second and share this with folks, because this is very similar type of stuff that is going on, and it's going on everywhere. And for the people who say, well, you're talking about Madison County, or you're talking about, all of this stuff, folks, especially when we're talking about anywhere in Indiana, it's all going on, and it's the same stuff. And the information that we use from one county to the next can be used in dealing with shit from one county to the next. So first of all, keep that in mind. But second of all, I want you guys to be aware, and I want you to hear this just briefly. I want to interrupt here and show you this. So, not just in Madison County, but in Delaware County, we're dealing with a coroner's office that is an absolute screw up as well. On the screen
Seems like a happy guy.
Yeah, doesn't he look so nice and happy and wonderful? That
He's proud of
is
his screw ups.
yeah, right. That's your Delaware County auditor. Now, what's fun about him is he's not just the auditor, but he is also your Delaware County Republican Party chairman. So he wears both hats. And what's really fun about him is during the day when he's supposed to be working as the county auditor, he's in his county funded office with his county funded blinds closed and his county funded door shut and locked, doing Republican Party business, which is a no. That's very bad. And maybe that's why this happens. I just want to bring it to everybody's attention. We've talked about this before several times just this year, but it has come to my attention, ladies and gentlemen, that Mr. Ed Carroll here, Republican elected auditor for Delaware County, Indiana, who has, since he's been in this position, it's just been a complete mess. Everyone is familiar with the past issues that I've posted about concerning Ed and his office not paying claims. They didn't take taxes out on their employees for the year 2023, and they started to do the same in 2024. And it was only when like entire departments were going to him and saying, yo, you screwed up our shit, that they tried to catch it and try to smooth it all under the rug. Okay. And then he's not paying claims. One of those things he's not paying is the credit cards for the county. So when our Delaware County Sheriff's deputies are going to get gas in their cars or whatever, they're not being able to get gas in their cars because their credit cards are declined. And these people are not being able to buy shit that they need to do their jobs to serve the citizens of Delaware County. So I just want to tell you that I received a text message just today, and the text message says, just wanted to tell you that Ed's office has effed up again. The county charge cards were turned off. This is a constant problem. I also heard from another individual in the last week that there are several claims that are not being paid. And I just want to ask why, what's going on, and I want to tell everybody, listen, everybody understands in Delaware County that the Republican Party is a mess, and that for whatever reason, either he's incompetent, he doesn't care, he's purposefully trying to kill it. But for whatever reason, one reason or another, he's running the Republican Party into the ground. Okay. He's killing it. Now, that sucks, but it's a private club. So at the end of the day, have at it. Do what you want to do with it. Kill it, smother it, whatever. All right. He and his fellow Republican council vice chair, which is also none other than Republican elected counselor Jessica Piper, they're just killing the party. But it's quite a different story when he is actively screwing up the Delaware County government. He's wrecking the auditor's office, and he's making the rest of the county look like an effing joke. Seriously, what's going on, Ed? Like, is something up? What's happening? Now, I heard that this last week, his wife had a surgery or something, or needed some procedure, so he's been out of the office. And look, I get it. Family comes first. However, when you're an elected official and you've got something like that happen, you need to be able to delegate so the shit gets taken care of. And if your office is so screwed up that you don't have someone that can do the stuff while you're away, then you need to resign so we can put someone in there that can. I just don't understand. And seriously, like, what's going on? When, for the love of all that is holy, is someone finally going to have a serious talk with this man? It is time for him to give up the county GOP, and I guess maybe he wants to totally destroy it first, whatever. But it's definitely time that something happens with the auditor's office, because this is not acceptable. Our county sheriff, just think about next time you got something really serious going on at your property and you see somebody out with a gun and they're kicking in your front door, and you call the sheriff's deputies and they're stuck at the gas station because they can't get there because they can't put gas in their cars because their credit cards are declined because Ed Carroll is a screw up. And it's time that James King, I know he's only got another month and a half, but it's time that James King or Shannon Henry or Sherry Riggin or Daniel Flanagan or Bill Hughes or Matt Kantz or James Mokel or Jessica Piper or Eugene Whitehead or Ryan Webb, some of these people, one of these people, any of these people need to sit down and have a talk with this guy, because the Delaware County credit cards have been declined again as recently as this weekend and/or into the weekend. When is enough enough? It's not just Madison County. It's Delaware County. I talked to somebody this weekend. Randolph County, if we're attributing this stuff to cancer patients, if this is a cancer that's growing and metastasizing, Randolph County's dead. The patient has died of cancer. And, normally when that happens, the cancer dies, but somehow the cancer's still growing and it's still just feeding off of the dead body now. And it's just like, I feel bad for it, but Randolph County is just dead. I mean, there's just almost nothing else that can be done. The head needs to be cut off. Something needs to happen, but there's places where it's not totally screwed up yet. And Delaware County is one of them. Madison County is the same, but if we're not careful, we can end up like Randolph County. So I just wanted to share that because I know there were some people here that were watching this. Problems with the clerical in the auditor's office. Listen, Jackie, it's
just clerical.
Yeah, it's more than a clerical error. This is happening repeatedly.
Maybe it's like a decimal point. Like maybe just one too many zeros. Maybe it's a class they all take on how to screw up. I don't know, because it seems like to be a big trend in auditors' offices.
Check the group, Christopher.
Oh yeah, hold on here. Let me see this. This will be good. I saw she posted something. Let me see.
I mean, I are all auditors built the same? I mean, just think about this. Our auditor that we're getting ready to get in Madison County in March of 24, right before the primary, settled a $500,000 personal bankruptcy suit. And he blames it on the 2008 recession, that he was never able to climb out of that. So that's what Madison County just voted in. And you know what, Madison County? I'm going to tell you something. I don't know that you guys did vote in that. I'm starting to wonder.
Right. There's a very good chance that maybe you didn't. But I'm going to tell you, that was a good enough reason to not vote for Donald Rainwater for governor of Indiana. So if we're not going to give the governor, like I wouldn't, maybe Madison County needs to really take a look at that, because the Republicans were running around saying you can't elect Rainwater because he had a bankruptcy back in like the 90s, like 30 years ago. But man, if you can't elect him because of that, I sure as hell wouldn't want to elect a man that was messing around like that back in the in 2008, and I want to show you guys this. Here's the small picture of Ed that you guys saw, but then there's someone had shared this, that he looks very similar. There's a very similar likeness here, and I can't say that I disagree. I very much believe that this could be Ed. That's hilarious. I don't know if that was you there or if that was Niles, but that was good, whoever that was. Oh God. Okay, so I just wanted to show people that we can go back now here to the Madison County. I want to let the Delaware County people be aware that I am looking into this deal with Ed. I just became aware of this weekend. Matter of fact, I got two different messages. I received a message from someone that works in the county building, and I got somebody in emergency services, we'll say. It could be Delaware County EMS, could be the sheriff's department, you know, something to that effect. So just take that for what it is, but understand that this is a problem. And so because we've been on the weekend, I've not been able to do much about it, but I am going to look into it. I've already sent this out. After we get off the show tonight or tomorrow, I'm going to send an email out to all of the officials so they can't just, you know, dodge me on social media. I'll make sure that it's official, but we're going to get to the bottom of this because it's happened more than once just this year.
Hey, listen, if you do it in Madison County, you get an award at the end of your term.
Oh, God.
I just want everybody to know. And sometimes you're the one giving yourself your own award. I mean,
Yeah,
I
dude.
never saw anything more comical than when I see Gardner get up there awarding Gail and Emery, and those two got to slobber all over each other. And then they're like, oh, but we got to give you one, Rick. So then they give him one. I'm like, you guys, this is like craziness. You chose to serve the people and move on.
Well, you know, listen, I will tell you, I think I've got you beat with one of those stories. And this was in 2019. This is when myself and a couple of my friends, Audie and Sarah, worked really, really hard to bring down at that time the evil one, she who shall not be named, who we now name because she's doing whatever, Nora Powell. When she got kicked out of her seat, when she got beat in November of 2019, and she was not going to be on the council for the next 4 years, what happened was she was the vice president of the council, and her president of the council, the person that was president, was Doug Marshall. And Doug Marshall had already made it known he was not coming to the last meeting. He was just not going to be there because we had turned his life upside down for the last 3 months. And he said, I'm not doing it. So he didn't come. So it was Nora who stepped up to take over the president chair because she was the vice president. So at the end of the meeting, she gave the outgoing counselors these little plaques. There were these little plaques that had like a small little gavel on it. It was cute. Probably spent maybe $100, $150 each on each one. Just a complete look. I get giving them something, but you know, don't break the bank on it. That's stupid because it's really nonsensical. Let them keep their name plaque and move on with it. Okay, whatever. Anyways, after she gave all these out at the end of the council, there was nobody there to give Nora one. So her mother steps up to the podium, takes the mic off the dais, and is like, I want to give my daughter, the great Nora, one of these great awards. And everyone's like going around. Audie Barber brought them a retirement cake that said, happy retirement, now you can eat cake, or something like that. And he took it up there and cut it. And there's pictures of him and video of him just smiling like he's just like a 12-year-old, you know, dumb little 12-year-old Audie up there giving these assholes cake. And they're like, you know, of course, everybody thought like he poisoned it or something. But it was funny because there was people who was like eating it, but Nora wouldn't eat one. And I don't think Dan ate one. But it was pretty funny. It was definitely a good time. But yeah, I think when your mom's got to give up and give you an award,
right?
You probably don't deserve it.
Public. Yeah. I mean, the only person who deserves an award is Bethany Keller.
Bethany Keller. She's not going anywhere. And damn, they should have gave her an award just for this meeting.
Yes. I mean, it's meeting after meeting after meeting that she continues to hold them accountable. And I pray and I hope that Christy Grabowski will be her second finally, that she will have some support up there, that it'll be the right thing. So I kind of wanted to, it was very difficult on where to start with this. Yeah. I hope Bethany Keller is watching. I hope that Lisa Rinker is watching. Yes. I hope that these people are watching who you are getting there. It's just a slow process. So I sent you the article that was just put in the paper yesterday morning. And this is their point of view. The point of view from the Herald Bulletin, which we all know is 2 thumbs down.
Yeah.
And I just want you to know I'm going to give you my point of view on this pathetic article. And I'm going to show the entire world what Madison County has in store for them.
Yeah. Because so you sent this to me. I don't, with everything else I follow, I don't just follow the Herald Bulletin. I really I cannot stand a lot of newspaper guys, but I cannot stand Ken
and Scott Underwood. They're the biggest disgrace to journalism that has ever walked this earth.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't just, I probably should, but I don't make it a point to read it. But anytime any of you guys send me it, I read it. And I'm going to tell you, this article really kind of, it pissed me off, and it was nonsense. Now, I know it might be hard for you guys to see it, but what I'll do is I'll read the article and then you give your thoughts on it. Okay? You want to do it like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm game. This is the most disturbing, disgusting piece of work I have yet seen.
Yeah. Okay, so and this is a really weird thing because it's like half journalism and half opinion, and it's like, Ken, what are you, dude? Like
missing a ton of facts.
Yes. Yeah. Missing. Yeah.
So I'm going to help with that.
Yeah. All right. So here's the article. And then we can either read it all the way through, or you can tell me to stop. Whatever you do, you just tell me to stop when you want to stop.
All the way through.
Okay,
and then we'll come back and
All right, so here it goes. Who will lead Madison County Council in 2025? Following the 2024 election cycle, there are a few changes in the makeup of state and local government. What didn't change locally is the continued dominance of the Madison County Republican Party when it comes to county offices. There are currently no Democrats elected countywide office or to Indiana General Assembly seats representing the county. Republican Rick Gardner, who is completing his second term as auditor, will be moving to the 3-member board of the county commissioners in January, joining fellow Republicans John Richwine and Olivia Pratt. Todd Culp, who was chief deputy in the auditor's office for the past 8 years, will now be the county auditor, having defeated Katherine Callahan in the primary election before running unopposed in the fall. The biggest change starting in January will be among the 7 members of the Madison County Council. Incumbent Republicans Anthony Emery and Ben Gale decided not to seek re-election, and Michael Vaughn lost in the May primary. Among the remaining council members, only Rob Steele has served more than 1 term on the council. Steele was elected in 2021 to complete the term of Emery, who won an at-large seat in 2020. Diane Likens, Jody Norick, and Bethany Keller are all serving in their first term on the council. The 3 new members of the council are Jonathan Culp, Scott Green, and Christy Grabowski. Although Gale and Emery have not always made decisions that were welcomed by other council members and some local residents, they both brought experience and assholery to the council. I added that in, I just had to the council. Since the 2022 election, the council has been clearly divided into 2 factions. Gale, Emery, Steele, and Likens have tended to vote together, while Vaughn, Norick, and Keller have also voted along the same lines. And I believe that was probably true for a while, but I almost believe it's all 6 of them versus Keller now. All right.
Yes, for the past year, it has been.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
For the past year.
With the 3 new members joining the council and a lack of deep experience among the other members, It will be interesting to see how the leadership positions are filled in 2025. It would appear that either Steele or Likens will be elected. I mean, it really pisses me off. Will be elected as the president next year with anticipated support from Culp and Green. But it's likely the vote for president will see more than one candidate nominated and a divided vote on the leadership position. The vice president of the council will likely be either Steele or Likens. And there could be a nomination made for Green, who brings experience to the body after serving on several local community boards. It would be refreshing to see the two factions reach an agreement on the leadership post so that the year doesn't begin in turmoil. Time will tell. Senior dipshit Ken blah, 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 blah.
Della
Okay.
bastard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, let's talk a little bit about this
Okay.
article,
Yeah.
starting from the top. And I would love for anybody to put in anything they think. So, who will lead Madison County Council in 2025? Now, before this article came out, there was a lot of swirl about Green being in that leadership. Now, I have seen Green in like the last 3 meetings.
Okay.
And then he was there right before the primary. Now, he likes to say that he was watching online. Let me tell you something. I bet you, Dr. Green, if we took a test over this council, that I would pass better than you would pass. And if you think, Dr. Green, I haven't seen your comments that says there's only one real doctor, and that's Dr. Green, and that Katherine is not, I'm fully aware. So when you pat me on the back in the hallway and say we need to have a meeting, I just want you to know that we're welcome to meet, but I'm fully aware of what you're posting about me and what you're texting others. So please don't do that with me. I am happy to meet with anybody, but you
Just
don't
hate
have
you
to.
up front. Like you don't gotta be a puss about it.
Yeah. So as we go, it says following the 2024 election cycle, there are a few changes in the makeup of the state and local government. What did change locally is the continued dominance of Madison County's Republican Party. It's not a continued dominance. The Republicans hold all the seats in Madison County by name. Understand that, people, by name, because this is a uniparty in Madison County for the majority of them.
Yeah.
I want to be clear with that. A true Republican, Bethany Keller.
Yeah.
Let me see. I don't care where Beeman has been. Other than that, I got no one. I'm just going to say that. So as we go on, there are currently no Democrats elected in the county-wide offices or the Indiana General Assembly seats representing the county. Republican Rick Gardner, who is not a Republican, who has voted Democrat in the past, go back and look, because we've pulled that record, who is completing his second term as auditor, will be moving to the 3-member board for the county commissioners. So now you've just tipped the hat. Olivia Pratt, she's going to follow whatever they do. Slick Rick is going to do anything that's told to him. People, you need to understand something. Slick Rick is taking a $25,000 pay cut. He can't pay his taxes now as it is. Somebody or somewhere is going to have to pay for it. Now, he did a test run with the $25,000 raise. Bethany caught it. So that test run failed. So he's going to have to get a little bit more slick about the situation. Just saying. And I don't care what anybody thinks I'm insinuating. It's the truth. He knew what he was doing, and he did it, and he thought he'd slide it through. He's been doing it for the last 4 years. And then Bethany came to town, and she started looking at things with a fine-tooth comb. When Ben Gale has repeatedly admitted in budget meetings, we do not look at the budget with a fine-tooth comb using those exact words.
I heard him say it like twice, like a month ago.
Let me tell you something. There's a new sheriff in town, and the name's Bethany Keller.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line. And I don't know if Bethany will run again. She may find that this is not worth the headache after the beating. I'm telling you,
Bethany. I know you don't like my style, although we should get along. I appreciate you. And I'm fine if you don't like me. That's fine. I get where you're coming from, and I respect you. And please don't give up. Please do not give up. They are beating you down, and it's tough, and I get it. And it might be like, why does this matter? It matters. It matters. We are getting ready to go in Delaware County into a situation where our Bethany Keller is not going to be there. And the person that we're getting is going to be like adding another Ben Gale. And I'm telling you, it's bad. It's not good. It's a bad thing. And so please, 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 if you get beat, that's one thing, but do not give up. Lean on the public, lean on the people there, lean on the people that you can, but do not give up. Madison County needs you.
Yes. So it goes on to say that Todd Culp, who is the chief deputy auditor in the office for the past 8 years, will now be the county auditor, having defeated Katherine Callahan. Now, I just want everybody to know, did they talk about anybody else who lost the race but Katherine Callahan? There is this enjoyment. This is where you're poking the bear.
Yes.
And that's okay, because you're poking the bear just made your whole situation worse, right? So everybody needs to understand that Todd Culp, again, just completed a $500,000 personal bankruptcy, people. That means, this is what this means. I'm going to screw over the American people, and I'm going to file a $500,000 bankruptcy. But I just spent 60 grand to win a seat that pays about 75,000. I just want all you to know that. Okay. Now, if he hasn't been able to pay his bills in the past, he just spent 60 grand. He's going to make 15,000 for the year. Somebody's going to have to pay for his vices.
Yeah.
And this is going to, I mean, for heaven's sakes, I want to give him a big shout out. I'm proud of him. I want everybody to know, his wife gives him a shout out as he's a recovering alcoholic. Kudos to you. Kudos to you. But we got big problems, Madison County, and they're big. Oh yeah. She put it all over her Facebook. I'm proud of him too.
Well, that's good. Right.
But I'm telling you, this jail, it's driving me to drink, and I don't even drink. So, it is what it is. Let's all own it. I mean, this is part of, and I don't care if anybody, here's the thing. I ran for election because there needed to be some challenges there. They needed to have some challenges. The fact that the Democrats didn't run anybody, shame on them. What a disgrace not to run somebody. So Todd Culp, okay, did he really defeat me? Yeah, I don't know about that anymore now that I sit back and watch everything that's happening. So it says the biggest change starting in January will be among the 7 members of the Madison County Council. Let me tell you why this will be the biggest change. People, follow me. The biggest change is because the people of Madison County, the majority of you voted for Jonathan Culp. Jonathan Culp is the son to Auditor Todd Culp. He is married to Jody Nork's only daughter, making him the son-in-law to Jody Nork. They both sit on the council. This is a huge conflict. He's the fiscal body. His dad's the auditor. His mother's a councilwoman over at the city of Anderson. There's lots of moving parts here.
We talked about this back during the election.
Absolutely. So this isn't, and I'm sick of hearing Catherine's a sore loser. Catherine's not a sore loser. I'm fine with it. I'm going to enjoy this right now. So, and quite honestly, I get the right to speak because I did run. Sure. I've earned it. So incumbents Republican Anthony Emery and Ben Gale decided not to seek re-election, and Mikhail Vaughn lost in the May primary. And Mikhail lost by like 45 votes. But Mikhail earned that. He could have won it. That's Mikhail for Mikhail to own. He lost it himself. And that's just how that goes. So Anthony Emery, my understanding is he got a lot of heat from the state police. They didn't want him running anymore because, after all, we've lost Steve Sumner. You got a state police officer sitting on the council and has lost his fellow colleague. I've never seen anything like it. And then on top of it, you got a state trooper who sits on the bench there giving out raises and refused to give any of the sheriffs raises because he's pissed off. Because why? Because he's a sore loser that he lost to Beeman. Not only did he lose to Beeman, there were 3 people running. The other 2, Beeman and I can see her face right now. They were first-time runners, and they both beat out an incumbent who's been in politics. That just tells you the people really didn't want you.
Yeah.
I don't know that I really don't know that those 2 could have won anyways, but it's kind of an interesting whole show here. So understand all the players here with Anthony Emery and Ben Gale. Among the remaining council members, only Rob Steele has served more than 1 term on the council. Steele was elected in 2021 to complete the term of Emery, who won at large seat in 2020. And I'm going to tell you something. Somebody needs to pull over Rob Steele. That man, anytime you see him in lapel, is stumbling around. And I'm not saying this to be mean, people. Please believe me. I am telling you factual with my eyes. It's embarrassing.
That's no good.
So, yeah. I could tell you stories that make your head swim. And I don't care. These are elected officials. Let's put it all out there.
Yeah.
I don't even care anymore. If you want to write stuff about me in the paper and you guys think it's funny, well, then we're just going to put it out there. And if anybody wants to tell me it's not the truth, please show me that, because I'm telling you right now, it's the truth.
That's scary.
Yes. Among the main council members, only Rob Steele has served more than 1 term on the council. Okay. And then it goes, Steele was elected in 2021 to complete the term of Emery, who won at large seat in 2020. Now, I don't know, Ken, that you are a complete moron. He was caucused in. He wasn't elected by the people. He was caucused in. I mean, why don't you write a story that is true and factual?
Yeah. And why was he caucused in?
Because Emery was in, because Emery wanted to run for sheriff and he was in a district seat and he needed to be at an at-large seat. And so it was the dumbest thing. And then he was running for sheriff. So they did all this.
Yeah.
Garbage. And it's like a show game of people.
That's exactly.
So just let's be clear on what's going on here. The same thing with Diana Likens. She was caucused in initially, and then they ran in those seats. And Diana Likens, she got caucused into a seat because her husband's best friend, Steve Sumner, who they employed at Likens Farm because they enjoy pedophilers, literally knew what he had done. And they're like, well, we wanted Steve to be the commissioner. He was going to take Darlene's seat. That's why Darlene ran, but they weren't sure he could win it. So Darlene was going to take the seat. She was going to resign. They were going to put Sumner in Darlene's seat. And then Diana was going to go into Steve's seat anyways. That was the whole plan, people. So these people were thick as thieves with Steve Sumner. Thick as thieves.
And let me tell you, I have had multiple conversations with Steve Sumner. That man, what time is it? 10:30? My grandparents are probably in bed. That man is a fucking weirdo. Steve Sumner, I didn't know what his deal was, but I'm going to just tell you, when it hit the newspaper, I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Now, and I don't mean any disrespect to Jamie, and I'm not downplaying any of that. It's a horrible deal. But that was not shocking to me in the least. I knew he was creepy, and for those people to welcome that man around and be just cool with him. And for Emery, my God, to be a cop and to just be like, oh, he's cool. That is so weird, because I knew that dude was a weirdo from the first sentence he spoke to me.
And who's one of Steve Sumner's best friends?
Well, yeah.
Rick Gardner.
Yeah. Rick Gardner, who's supposed to be like super duper religious.
I mean,
and
Todd Culp, they love that man.
Yeah.
It's the most disgusting
It's gross.
display. It is. And I feel bad for Jamie Lynn.
Yeah.
And the fact that nobody can bring this man to justice clearly shows you just how corrupt and deep politics are in Madison County.
I wish that like the U.S. Marshals would like swear me in and give me like, all right, here's $10,000. Go get him. Because if I had someone that would bankroll that and I didn't have this show that I need to put on nightly, we would go get him. I would go get that dude. I mean, we would go find that guy.
I mean, it's just horrible. And I'm telling you, people right now, he's sitting in a church somewhere undercover, and it's just a matter of time. But it's the fact that, and I'm telling you right now, anybody who votes in another prosecutor who's in that office, if we have another option, you're crazy.
Yeah.
We have to have change, and that change has got to start somewhere. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, just real quick, and I know that this is getting down a rabbit hole, but it's important to say this. People like Sumner get caught. Sumner's not a genius. He's not even a genius criminal. It was like he's a pedophile. He's a weirdo. And it wasn't like he was going out and doing elaborate things. It was crime of opportunity because of who his victims were, which is just a horrible thing. Just horrible. But the reason he's not caught is people get caught like this because they go out and they do things and they make mistakes. There's only one reason why that's not happening. And it's because he and his needs are being taken care of. The question is, who's taking care of them? I think the answer to that would really scare a lot of people.
Oh, I think I'm pretty clear on who's taking care of it. I think that's why Diana Likens is so hostile on the stand.
Sure.
That's why she shuts everybody up the minute she can. I mean, it's the most disturbing thing that I've ever seen. I mean, who would ever want to be a part of that? I have no idea. And the reason why nobody can find him is there's no money out there on his head.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's just gross that nothing, is out there on his head. So it's what it is. It says Diana Likens, Jody Nork, and Bethany Keller are still serving in their first term on the council. Well, that's funny because in the previous paragraph, Steele's serving his second term. Well, so's Diana because she got caucused in before she won this one. So that's not true. Now, Diana Likens or Jody Nork and Bethany Keller are both serving their first terms. But Diana was caucused in, so she's actually into a second one.
Okay.
The three new members of the council are Jonathan Culp, Scott Green, and Christy Grabowski. Again, it should say in here, Jonathan Culp is the son to Auditor Todd Culp.
Yeah, man.
And he's the son-in-law to Jody Nork.
Yeah.
Although Gail and Emery have not always made decisions that were welcomed by other council members and some local residents, they both brought experience to the council. Did they really? Did they really bring experience, or did they bring the fact that they would shut up the public?
Yeah, right.
So, because there's nothing either one of them have brought experience. These two men screamed with Steele and Likens that we had to cut a budget. They screamed 60 days ago, cut the budget. We don't have enough, cut the budget. And then how much money did they pass in new money this month? 12.4 million? I mean, we have no budget in Madison County. We have just ask and you shall receive if we like you. So they go on to say, since the 2022 election, the council has been clearly divided into two factions. No, it got divided clearly more as we went on because Bethany Keller is now on her own.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it. After Jody Nork lost the nomination for presidency in 2024 for this one, she began to play the game. She began to become one of them so that she can eventually have that seat.
Yeah, that's so sick. Who gives
That's
a shit?
ultimately what happened. And it's a terrible shame.
It is.
I had a lot of promise for Jody Nork. And you know, even when she will call them out on stuff and say they shouldn't have done something, she still votes their way. Well, if you're going to call them out and say it was wrong, why would you vote in their favor? I mean, it makes no sense.
Yeah,
So
that's really sad.
yeah, Gail, Emery, Steele, and Likens have tended to vote together, while Vaughn, Nork, and Keller have also voted along the same lines. Nope. Vaughn and Nork have clearly jumped ship, and they are on the swamp's boat. I mean, they might say, yes, we hear Keller, but you ever hear them give Keller a second?
No.
You ever hear them support Keller?
No.
I mean, I don't know. Every time they take a vote, it's usually 6-1.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, and it wouldn't be bad for them to come up with some kind of a good thought themselves and let her be the second. And they don't ever do that. She's the only one that's saying anything worth a damn. Mikhail Vaughn, he is I'm glad he's gone. He's
I am
trash.
too.
He was a weirdo.
The way he disrespected Bethany at the end of that meeting and saying stuff to her, you know, how disrespectful. And shame on Jody, because Jody should have looked up as a female and should have said, don't speak to her like that. When Ben Gale was talking the way he was to Bethany Keller about she just misunderstood and it was a misunderstanding, Jody should have said, no, there wasn't a misunderstanding. I'm in agreement with Bethany. But you don't see that. You don't see anybody supporting Bethany, and it's disgusting.
Yeah.
You know, so the article goes on to say, with 3 new members joining the council and a lack of deep experience among the other members, it will be interesting to see how the leadership positions are filled in 2025. It would appear that either Steele or Likens will be elected as the president next year with the anticipated support of Culp and Green. Now, this is going to be real interesting. It really is, because I think Jody will get nominated and she'll go against somebody. And if they put Norick against Green, that means Jonathan Culp will have to cast the deciding the vote. Will he vote for his mother-in-law? Or will he say, I will choose Green and not my mother-in-law? Now, here's the thing, people. If Jonathan Culp has any integrity at all, he will say, I will recuse myself from this vote.
That's what he would need to do.
That's what he should do. But we will find out just how much integrity the Culp family has. And if he does that, it will leave it in a deadlock 3-3. And then we'll really see who all the players are, because somebody is going to have to switch sides. Now, will it be Steele? Steele and his wife have been best friends with the Likens for decades.
Okay.
If people didn't know that. But I will tell you, I have never seen Steele really side with Jody Nork. And to me, you would think that there would be a little bit more respect between each other if you've been friends for that long.
Yeah.
But Steele will always sell his soul to the swamp instead of doing the right thing. So let's see here. As it goes on, the vice president of the council will likely be either Steele or Likens. There could be a nomination made for Green, who brings experience to the body after serving on several local community boards, which I'd like to know what those are. It would be refreshing to see the two factors reach an agreement on the leadership posts so that the year doesn't begin in turmoil. Time will only tell. Well, here's the other thing I'm going to tell people. If Green goes up there for president or vice president, to me, that's political suicide. Because he's going to show everybody his arrogance and his cockiness. He doesn't have to learn what this community or fiscal body does. He's just going to jump in with both feet and he's just going to say, I got it. That's not good for the people.
No.
At all. And while Bethany might be her only first term, she appears to be the only one that's truly doing her homework. And when she does the homework, she's actually holding it accountable.
Listen,
therefore, she should be the president.
When we say first term, I mean, she's over the first term.
That's what I would.
So she's now has enough. Somebody going in on the first day of the very first meeting, they could be president. Look, there's sometimes a council is an all new council. What happens in a situation where you would run? Well, Delaware county councils can't be that way. So speaking about city councils, because city councils all run at the same time. So there is a situation where in a city council setting, all of your members could be new at the same time. And there are times that's happened, very few and far between. But if that happens, it's a really rocky road for a minute. But it does get done and it can happen. That being said, you generally don't want someone first day, first night, first meeting to become president. So that's stupid. So if they, I'm telling you, if anybody nominates Grabowski, Green, or Culp for president, anyone who nominates those people are stupid. Nobody should nominate any of those people. That's stupid. So now you're dealing with Steele, Likens, Norick, or Keller. Okay?
Listen,
out of those four people,
Steele was the president last year,
and he was a joke.
He couldn't even speak in the microphone.
Yeah, he had no.
He mumbles. Why does he mumble? Yeah, because if somebody would grab that big glass or I don't know, go cup that sits up there, you might find out why he mumbles.
I'd like to breathalyze him. That's right.
Yes.
That's right. It'd be interesting to see that. Yeah. So take Steele out because we've already seen that play out, and that guy was a joke. All right. So Steele's out of the running. And so now you've got the three women.
If you say anything to Likens that she just doesn't like, she gives you the stink eye.
She wants you to be arrested.
Yeah.
She thinks, I think, I honestly think if we all have a problem with Gale and how he was acting, if you want to see something crazy, I think Likens would be worse than Gale.
Oh, she'll be like Gale on steroids.
Yeah. Yeah. So that removes her. So now you've got Norick or Keller, and
And here's
Norick
what I'm going to tell people.
Anything.
Here's what I'm going to tell people.
Yep.
It's the perfect storm to have Bethany as the president and Norick as the vice president. I'm going to tell you why. Because Norick, as you can see, doesn't just blindly go with Bethany.
Right.
So you're going to have a balance.
Yep.
And that's what you want.
Yeah. You could do something like that. That would be cool. Have a female president, vice president. They would both be good enough to do that. I don't want to see Norick in the presidency because, she's just not impressed me. It's just not impressed me.
Well, and in 2023, Steele was the president, Gale was the vice president, but Gale was consistently bailing out Steele because Steele's never prepared for the meetings.
Yeah.
Never. He's never prepared.
Yeah.
I mean, Likens isn't either. That woman doesn't even have a job, right? And she's constantly, well, let me flip through these pages. I mean, I'll give it. Norick has done her homework, so she's done her homework, but Likens is always digging through these papers, reading them real fast. She's really not sure what's going on. Steele, he's kind of just looking off in la la land like, well, what time is it? Were we supposed to do that? Was I supposed to look at that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it only makes sense that, you know, it would come down to Bethany and Jody. But, you know, one thing I did say to everybody is I kind of am interested in the first meeting to see who they are going to put into that seat as president and vice president, because this is going to be a big deal over the next year. And so we'll see what kind of happens as this whole jail fiasco comes up. And that's the next show I would like to do. They clearly know that the ARPA money shouldn't be spent on the jail.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Bethany keeps calling them out on it.
Yeah.
But they're going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you something right now. Bethany's the only one that's on video and on tape that's going to be saved, because she's like, I'm not sure you guys are right. You're supposed to do this. And she's voting no, which is the smartest thing she could do.
Yeah.
Let them all vote yes. Let them all be unanimous, because she gets to say, nope, I voted no. I'm not on this lawsuit. You guys did that yourselves. So that's the smartest thing that she could possibly do, right? So as you watch them come up to the podium and they're starting to move this money around, and they're like, well, we're going to put this in a safety net and we're going to put it over here and we're going to make sure nobody's going to know what we're doing, because everybody's more, you know, they don't have any clue to anything. Well, here's the reality of it. People are figuring this out.
Sure.
And, you know, somebody said to me tonight, I would hate to be the one that files a lawsuit against the county, because the person would be out the county would be out the $7 million, right? And that would be political suicide right there, because they turned that person in, and it cost the county. Now, granted, $7 million, then we would have to come up with the $7 million, and then over $1 million of attorney fees. So actually, it's going to cost us $15 or $16 million with this screw up, and it's going to happen. I want people to know it's going to happen. And here's the thing. While somebody might think that's political suicide, that's exactly the person I would be voting for, because now I know that person has some integrity and they are willing to put themselves out there and do what's right. People can say to me all the time that I caused myself to lose my own election because I was too honest and I was too out there. But you know what? I never sold my soul.
Absolutely.
And to me, I can hang my head high that I did the right thing no matter what the cost was.
That's why the people out there that say, well, if it just wasn't for the way you go about things. You know what I tell those people? Eat shit and do it the way you want to do it. This is the way I do it.
Exactly.
You know, you'll be fine. Everything's okay. You talk to these idiots the way you want to, and I'll talk to them. I didn't start out an asshole. I'm sure you didn't start out being an asshole.
I was very nice.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure you were. I'm sure that you were. And I didn't really pay attention. I mean, I watched shit, but I can't remember that far back. I'm sure that you were. I was. No, you know, there's no reason to start out being crazy. It's kind of one of those things like, it's like when Michael Keaton in Batman smashes the thing and talks to the Joker and says, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Like, you push it somebody far enough and you get what you get, and you can't throw a fit. It is what it is. So it's not like, fine, okay, this is where we are. Maybe I am over the top. Maybe you are over the top, but you're, like you said, you've not sold your soul, and you are who you are. And when you're wrong, you admit it, but most of the time you're right. and that's just is what it is.
And here's the thing. I mean, I and again, Bethany and I have not always seen eye to eye. I adored and loved Jody, but I'm very disappointed in what she has put on display in the last 2 years. I can
say that you know, in the beginning of our talking, you have said that to me multiple times, that like Jody was like, you considered Jody a friend, and you know, you were on the same side, you know, like thought she was a good, you know, whatever. And slowly you didn't leave Jody. Jody left common sense.
Well, and the cancer got into her.
Yeah,
I
that
can tell you,
happens.
in watching Bethany, I don't think that cancer can ever penetrate her.
No, because she's an honest to God conservative person with honest values.
And truly has
She's
a servant's heart.
doing this for a yes, right.
Yeah.
She's doing this for the right reason.
You know, today I was also out today. I've seen a lot of people today, which is unusual for me, but I saw a couple from Elwood, and they said to me they don't know that they can continue to keep their farm because their property taxes have been raised so much. Now the utilities are up so much, and it's just too much that they're a young couple and they have no children, but they can't keep up with it even with two incomes because of what's happening in Madison County. They're going to have to look at another county to go live. That is the reality that's going to be coming. You know, here's an interesting thought. We went through an election, a general election. 6 months ago, charges were found on Russ Willis. The election board moved it to the state police. No charges still have not been filed. As a matter of fact, the state police have asked to say, well, we really can't hear anybody. The audio is really not that good. Did this really happen? I mean, it's unbelievable how deep this corruption is. Now, I filed back in August regarding, Russ Willis's finances for 5 years. Nothing's been done. And here we are. We've gone through this election. We did the provisional ballots. He wouldn't let anybody in the room for the provisional ballots. That's a whole nother show that needs to go on how he kept everybody out. I do not understand why this man is still involved when he has broken so many laws in the election process. People, you need to call the election board. You need to ask the election board, when are we having the hearing on Russ Willis and his criminal activity? I mean, I'm telling you right now, it needs to happen. I mean, I'm sending Kate right now where the phone number, you need to call and ask these people, when are we going to hear?
To me, I'll put it up. That's what I was doing right now.
When are we going to hear from
what
it's been over 90 days.
Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm making the banner right now. That's what I was just doing.
It's been over 90 days. I mean, where are we at with the Joes we act? Where are we at with all of
What's
this?
the phone number? Tell me the phone number.
The phone number is 765-641-9450.
And what is this we're calling? Is this
is the office, the election board's office. Where are we at with this? Why haven't we heard on Russ Willis? I mean, even if the election board finds that Russ Willis hasn't violated anything, I'm still going to file even higher up. He's violated it for 5 years. And you know what? I looked at all the financials for the general. They're still not getting it right. More violations are there. Russ Willis needs to go. And if we can get rid of that, we might get a little transparency. But as far as all this goes, I'm not interested in listening to these off-the-wall stories. I'm not interested in watching people who are going to sit in the president's seat who's going to allow all this, I don't know, lies. I mean, nobody had a problem with one too many zeros, 2,500 to 25,000, and nobody's got a problem with this.
Look, whoever the president is next year, I don't care who it is. It doesn't have to be Bethany, but they cannot go in acting like Ben Gale. They have to allow people to be heard. And listen, as soon as they're all put in and we've got their emails, I would like to email them and say, you guys need to, especially the new people here, but all of you need to take a moment and watch the Anderson City Council meeting. Here's a copy of the Muncie City Council meeting. Here's a copy of the Delaware County Council meeting.
Yeah, I got to bring this up.
Because they need to open up public comment every meeting.
Talking about the Anderson Council meeting.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you this, and that
Yeah.
needs to be looked at. Larry Savage has this whole debacle going on with those ballots. He was going to go in and resign because he sits on one of the boards.
The redevelopment commission, I think.
While he's sitting up there at the podium, it is called out that those members were all texting each other and took a vote to vote him out. Ollie Dixon called them all out and said, you cannot be doing that on text. You have to call a meeting. It has to be in front of the public. And if you use that vote, you are all in violation.
No. The fact is we need to get a copy of that. The fact that they've done it is a violation.
You got to watch the video. It was unbelievable.
So he was.
I would love to. And let me tell you, this is happening with the county. The county's doing the same exact thing.
Yeah.
But it was the city who put it on display for everybody. You gotta look at that. It's unbelievable, the footage on that. Yeah. But I just want everybody to know that I love and adore all of you for watching, for hanging in there right now and listening to all these things. We could talk about Madison County every night until the new year because there's just so much going on. Hopefully Chris will let me have one night a week until the new year.
You're here every week. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but I mean, where we talk about Madison County.
Talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, but it is off the chain. And I'm telling you, everybody, if you're thinking about running for a seat, get involved now.
Yeah, listen, this is very big. The only people that don't think about it and that file and think about it and file like the day of or the week before are people that are like swamp people, part of the party that they're going to get all the help. If your outsiders can win, the lone wolf, the outsider people can win. You've just got to think smarter, not harder. You cannot say, well, that sounds fun. I might think about that. And then sit on your ass and not do anything until January of 2026. Listen, folks, we just went through the climax. We now have the next year off, no elections. So for those of you that have been around a long time, I mean, going back to the perception is reality days, now the show's going to be fun. We got no election bullshit to worry about. Now it's just keeping track of the government and holding them accountable. That's the best part about it. The election stuff is crazy.
I hope Jody Norick is watching this show. And she says, maybe I need to rethink how I'm doing this if this is the way that people are perceiving me. I mean, and what's so hard on me is, you know how many times people say to me, you were a Jody fan. You promoted Jody. Look what she's done. So that's why I've got a problem with it. I'm just as accountable because I backed her.
Well, so a couple things. Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. No, you backed her, but people can change. I mean, and you can be like, well, that was a dud. That happens all the time. I do it all the time. A lot of people I've supported turned out to be turds, and it's the way it goes. Most people are going to disappoint you. It is what it is. But the thing is, you have to start. Next year is the off period. That's when you need to start doing stuff. You need to start talking to people. You need to start getting places where you can put signs. You need to start talking about people who will, give you money once the process starts. You have to start a year ahead of time. You cannot wait until May and be like, all right, I'm going to win. That's not going to happen. All right. So I want to say that. But
listen, in Madison County, Teresa, the meeting was the city meeting. You'll have to get on Rebecca's feed and watch it. So in Madison County, the prosecutor seat is up.
Yeah.
Cummings is done.
2026.
Cummings is done. They're wanting Andrew Hanna, who's the chief deputy right now. He is the son to Sam Hanna. And if anybody who knows Madison County, who knows Sam Hanna, who was a sheriff, you know what we're talking about. So Andrew Hanna is up.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll see a female attorney come out who will run against him. I'm in great hopes that we have a female candidate who will come out and run against him. It's time for a change in Madison County. So we'll see.
Honestly, just anybody, but yeah, a female will be fine.
It has to be an attorney.
It needs, obviously.
Right. Yeah. Then let's see here. All 4 district seats are up. That means Steele, Likens, Newark, and Keller are all 4 up. Mm-hmm. So if you're in the Alexandria area, it's Bethany Keller. Don't run. We want Bethany Keller to run again. Don't run.
Yeah.
If you're looking at District 3, that is Likens. District 2 is Jody Newark, which is the Edgewood area. And then District 4 is Steele, which is down here in South Madison, which is LaPel, Pendleton, those kind of areas. Also, Commissioner Pratt, she is up. That's Pendleton, small part of LaPel, all that down south area. Olivia Pratt for commissioner is up. And so she is District 1. Her seat is up. The sheriff's seat will be up. We'll see if Beeman runs again. That seat's also up. The assessor's office is up. Larry Davis's seat will be up for grabs. So they're saying you have to have this certification in order to be in there. But I'm telling you, after the way these property taxes are going, I don't know. We may see a huge change. So his seat is up. I'm trying. Those are like the big seats that are. And 2 of the other big seats. The recorder seat is up. That's Angie Abel. And the biggest seat of all of it is up. And that's where all the secrets lie. And that's the clerk's office.
Yep.
We need a clerk with honesty, integrity, and transparency.
Yep.
Once we get in that, we will be able to see the whole thing in Madison County of what's been going on for decades. I do believe we are going to see some pretty strong clerk candidates.
I hope.
So
that
would be good. And if the one clerk who I think might run for clerk is a Democrat, we might see a big, who knows? We might see a really big change on that one. So let's see what happens with that.
That'll be interesting.
That'll be an interesting race, but the clerk seat needs to be challenged significantly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole nother situation within itself. So there's lots going to go on in 26. So just because it's not a presidential year doesn't mean we don't have a lot of change that could still happen. That's that's and arguably 20. So and get people registered to vote in 26.
Well,
that's what you should be working on.
2025, all next year, people can register to vote. And that's the thing. So arguably by the level of importance, meaning by who votes, your presidential years, you're the most turnout. Then your midterm is the second, and that's 2026. And then the municipal is the least. And so that sucks. We need to get that. We need to get up in all.
People, Russ Willis believes that he's the one that's won all these Republican seats.
Yeah.
The man's nuts.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's something that goes to
he hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
So those are some things, there's much more to talk about with Madison County, what's going on here, how deep this corruption is. And again, people, I really only stay on the county side because I just can't put 5,000 more irons in the fire. But I did find that very fascinating. And there's much more to that council meeting.
Well, I do want to say this real quick. I want to clear this up. It doesn't have to even be something they pay. They are told that if they conduct business on their personal private phones, it is still accessible through,
Absolutely.
and this is one of the biggest things. Education is important. So FOIA, everyone uses the word FOIA. FOIA is for federal. Very seldomly are you going to deal with a FOIA request. In the state of Indiana, we have a state code, and it's called the Indiana Access to Public Record Act, or APRA, A-R-P-A, Access to APRA, APRA, Indiana Access to Public Record Act. And it's the same thing. It's a public record request. But if anyone submits a record request for those text messages, they have to save and keep them. You know, maybe they will, maybe they won't. Maybe they'll delete them, and then that's funny too, because then they're in their shitload of trouble. But that is accessible if they were doing business on private stuff. That's why they're told not to do that.
Oh, there's so much more on those text messages.
Oh, yeah.
And I've already got screenshots, and I'm telling you what, the things that they've been texting each other. Oh, goodness.
Yeah. That's amazing. So yeah, we'll have you back on. We can definitely talk about that.
Okay. Well, I thank all of you Madison County people watching tonight. There looks like there's 32 watching. So, hey, hopefully I'm good for some views.
Yeah. Well, hold on one second. I'll tell you what the deal is. Give me 1 second. That's give me 1 second here. Here. Okay, I can't see. All right. Yes. No. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. And yeah, we'll get you back on sometime next week.
All right. And so if anybody needs anything, let me know. But it'll be an exciting race to, I don't know, what are we at, about 50 days until when we find out who the president of this council is going to be.
Yeah,
a big shout out to Bethany Keller if she's watching, for all that she's done for the people this year. And she can certainly hang her head high and be a role model for her children and for many others for what she has done.
Yeah. She's cool.
A zero is a big error, and she just saved the people $22,500, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, we need to get her an award or something
just for that. So
yeah, right.
All right. If you need anything, let me know.
All right, will do. Thank you. Hey, before we run, folks, just hang tight 1 second. I just want to tell you a couple things. Number one, I do want to say again that there's going to be more stuff on the Westell stuff. So if you're out there and you're around and you've got Westell stuff, don't hide until the next episode. Get a hold of me now and let's talk about it. All right, that's number one. Number two, I need to put this out there, because these are two important things that I think the people aren't aware of. I guess really there are going to be a couple things I want to say. Number one, dude, there's some serious shit with Diego Morales going on. I don't know if you guys have heard this or not, but I want to make sure that you're aware in case you have not heard. So Diego Morales, it is a pretty much confirmed now that he is currently under federal investigation for money laundering in connection with drug cartels. I can't. It's stupid. It's stupid to say this. This is stupid shit. Diego Morales is currently under federal investigation in connection with money laundering in connection with drug cartels from either the Mexican cartels or the Guatemalan cartels. I'm not really sure which. And it's really big. It's a really big deal. This dude's the Indiana Secretary of State. He is the man that is over the elections and a lot of other serious shit for the state of Indiana. But out of everything his office does, in my world, the elections are the most important. He also does stuff with small businesses and licensing and yada, yada, yada. But the elections is really important. So that's interesting. I've never liked Diego. He's always been a weirdo. and it's going to be interesting. They're saying that indictments might come down around Thanksgiving, so be looking out for that. Going to be very interesting what happens there. But then also, my question here is, and we're going to get in more with this tomorrow, and we're going to talk about this in more detail tomorrow, but I just want to put out a question and maybe let everyone kind of marinate on it until we meet again. To all of the Hoosier voters out there that said you didn't like Mike Braun, but you voted for him anyway because you thought that Micah Beckwith, the boy wonder, could shake things up and force Braun to be better, force Braun to do this or do that. I want to know what you think about the situation where Braun and his team is now stripping Beckwith of more and more responsibilities like each and every day, even before January 1st arrives. The rift between Braun and Beckwith grows more and more each and every day, and it is real, ladies and gentlemen. I want to be clear. The word coming down is that this has already been stripped or is currently in the process of being stripped from Micah. His ability as lieutenant governor to oversee the IDDC, the broadband, next level, defense development, and veterans opportunities, and all the Indiana veteran stuff that the lieutenant governor has always overseen. The Braun team's taking that back underneath the governor's responsibilities. The big one is people in the know. The rumor mill is that agriculture is next. That, ladies and gentlemen, is like the biggest thing that the Indiana lieutenant governor does. And so the fact that they're going to take that away from him, or at least thinking about taking that away from him, is really crazy. The lieutenant governor also no longer hires the Senate's parliamentarian. And there's going to be a whole lot of other things that will happen before organization day for the Indiana General Assembly. So that's going to be interesting. The last biggie that I'm going to leave you with, and we're going to talk more about this tomorrow, so just stew on this. The transition team that's working with Braun, they're like Braun. They also don't like Beckwith. And so all these people that thought, well, Beckwith's going to be able to shake things up because, you know, he might not be the governor, but people are going to know to go to him and be able to lobby him, and, you know, his voice is going to matter. Ain't nobody going to be lobbying him because, again, the word on the street is that Beckwith, his supervisorial role has been cut from overseeing 1,000+ state employees to overseeing just around 70 state employees. That is massive. So I just want to be clear when I've said that, and I've said this since about 2 weeks after Beckwith became part of the establishment, and we knew that Braun, whatever went on there, I've said that Braun is going, don't vote for Braun thinking that you're getting Beckwith, because they are going to put Beckwith in a small dungeon under the stairs, and we're not going to hear or see about him again, except if you're talking about his podcast or you go to his church. Those are going to be the only places that he's relevant. So in hearing that they're cutting him down from overseeing 1,000+ employees to overseeing 70 is insane. And when I say insane, I mean it's such an insane deflation of his ego. And my question is to Rob Kendall, like, how's your seat at the kiddie table? Is this what you thought? Is this what you had in mind? That you were going to get a seat at the kiddie table in the dungeon under the stairs? Is that what you sold out for? So we'll talk about that more. It's in a high chair. And it is all fiction. It is all fiction, Shockproof. That's probably that could have been the name of the episode too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about this more tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow right here at 9 p.m. to the one person. I don't know if you're gone still or you're here. You have rights, cops have duties or something like that. He's like, you guys are still here? I'll stop in on Sundays. We're here 5 nights a week, bro. So stop in on Mondays or Tuesdays and Wednesdays, Thursdays too. We're always here, but you can always find us in repeat. Please hit the like before you leave. Subscribe if you haven't. Like if you do. Be sure to comment, share the show, and do all of those wonderful things. We thank you guys for tuning in. You could have been anywhere tonight or tomorrow or today or the next day or whenever it is if you're watching in the future. Thank you for everything. Hit the like, hit the bell, do all of that shit. We're very appreciative for all you do. We will see you back here at 9 p.m. Eastern, 5 nights a week, Sunday through Thursday. The next time we'll be back is Monday the 18th. Hey, that's my brother's birthday. All right, you guys take care. God bless, and we will see you then. Goodbye.